about being a woman, you know? You can't be, to me, you can't be a wife if you're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be a good wife if you don't know what a woman is. You know what I'm saying? If you're not a whole woman, if you don't know that you need to get rid of your ego, if you don't know what submission really looks like, right? Like, that word used to make me want to jump out of my skin, like, you know? But it's a heart posture. It's not even necessarily about like, oh, I have to submit to just, you have to submit to a man and give your life and your thoughts and your ideas and your body over. That's not necessarily what it is. It's about submitting to the ego, submitting to yourself, submitting to a higher power, submitting to your husband, submitting to your family, submitting to a common goal, being able to open up your heart and be vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? You have a lot of women who get married and they're not open. How can you be a wife and you're not open? You know what I'm saying? How can you be a woman and your heart is guarded? So I would ask all those types of questions. And then comes in, because if you're open and if you're willing and you're able and you're submissive, then you can learn. You can do all of these things. You know what I'm saying? Because you're willing to become a wife. You're willing to be the wife that you need to be and the helpmate. Sorry, I went on a tangent. Hey, sorry, guys.
That's what we need to hear. I mean, I don't think it should be a shortcut. If that's how you would address her, then I mean, for sure.
Yeah, because it's serious, right? It's a serious thing. Those are the questions. And if she's like, I don't know, then it's like, rethink it. There's no rush. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But like, these are the things that you really have to think through. I would talk to her about intimacy and about her sexuality. Like, all of this is like very, very important. So
now I was going to ask you something else, but since you mentioned that key word there, intimacy, I know we talked about that.
We did.
So this, I think you said this has been an issue, and you hear this from some of your clients or some ladies who reached out to you.
Yes.
About intimacy. What do you think? Is it in your opinion, is intimacy, is it about security or comfort? Like, what's your thoughts on that as far as
intimacy? So it is. It's not all about security and it's not all about comfort, right? We can't, because I feel like when we say it's about comfort, like some people say that a woman can't fully release or reach her peak until she trusts a man. She's willing to really like open up and give her body away, so to speak, and let herself go to those heights, right? That's a trust thing. But I've also realized it's a personal thing as well, right? So like for me and for a lot of women that I have talked to and worked with, it's with them. It has nothing to do with their husband or their partner or whatever, right? Which a lot of men take it take it personal, as they should their men. They're like, wait a minute, is it me? But a lot of times it's women who are disconnected, and people are going to hear me say this all the time because this is just what I'm on, right? Like a true thing. They're disconnected from their feminine. So for me, there was like a mind, body, and soul disconnection, like disconnect. So I would never allow myself to go into certain spaces where I could be intimate, right? It made me uncomfortable. I didn't like, because you have to be vulnerable. You have to be soft. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. It was foreign to me, because we're told that's what weak women, weak women are like that, right?
Right,
so like, you're strong, you're rigid, you're leading, and you're masculine, and now you have to like be intimate with the man and soften up. And sex is complete, but people are like, oh, but women have sex. It's completely different. Being intimate makes you more vulnerable, right? So if I'm with my guy and I curl up next to him and I want to like snuggle and stuff like that, that kind of stuff was hard for me to do, because I had to like soften myself, right? Like some women, it's easier for them to open their legs than it is for them to open up their hearts. So there is a lot of problems with intimacy when it comes to women, because they are disconnected from their core, from their womb, from their femininity. And once you connect to that femininity, it's a whole nother ball game when it comes to the intimacy and everything else. That's all I'm gonna say. I can't give away too much.
I'm glad you said that, because you definitely hit it on the head. There's a difference between just sex and intimacy.
Oh, for sure.
Because you do. I've encountered. Not a player. I'm just saying I've encountered women who can't be, or who are basically like, I've never really been intimate like this. I've never. It's just like you said. Basically, just open your legs and just going about your business. But in terms of really that I don't even want to call it because it's not about seduction or anything like that. It's just about the intimacy is just intimate. It's not intimate, has nothing to do with sex, really, at the
Right.
end of the day. You know what I mean? It's just
Right.
about being with someone and just the whole situation I told you about where I fell asleep. Yeah. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying?
We're not bringing it up today. Are we bringing that up today or
Yeah.
no?
No. We're not bringing it up. But the fact
Okay,
that
guys, we'll bring it up another time.
yeah, just the fact that you're able, as a man, he's able to, and the same thing, it's not about disarming, which a lot of us,
Right.
not a lot of us, a lot of players, a lot of those who are, they call toxic, are able to disarm a woman to, sexually. I'm not saying that's basically where she's going to be
Mm-hmm.
intimate to that point, but you're able to whisper sweet nothings and disarm her via your tongue,
Mm-hmm.
when I say speaking, to do that. But
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us will realize, for those like myself who do, I love intimacy. I love,
Right.
it's more than just sex. I love the talking, the
Hand holding.
laying in
Yeah.
her lap, the hold, and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? It's all the rest of that stuff. You're just an animal. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of guys, you realize that when it's all said and done, when you do participate in, that type, or you do conduct yourself in that way, you do feel like an animal, and it's not
Right.
fulfilling. It's not fulfilling. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You might as well be a one man show, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's meaningless. A lot of times it's meaningless, right?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm glad. Yeah, y'all heard what she said. She hit it on the head. It's definitely something different, and from a man's perspective, I can definitely say it's something. And a lot of you guys who haven't experienced it, something you guys may need to look into and work on. And
Yeah.
you could definitely book a session with Avery, and she can explain it to you as well.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
like, you know what it is, Jared? It's about, like, especially for a woman, and just a person in general, it's about also being able to sit with yourself, right? Because intimate is about being present in the moment, being with that
right?
person, whether it's you all sitting next to each other and we just had the NBA finals, right? And your man's watching the TV and you're shopping online. Of course, I do use shopping. You're shopping online, but it's a comfortable closeness, right? It's not like a toxic quiet or a negative, you can't cut tension, but you're just close. You just feel good leaning into each other, or then hand holding and the
Yes.
conversations and everything like that. But you cannot truly be intimate with someone until you're intimate with yourself, right? And I don't necessarily mean self-pleasure, but that could be
Right.
one of them. But I mean, like, learning to sit with yourself and be with yourself. And that
Correct.
also comes with accountability, right? So, like, all
Right.
of that it comes from that. But if you feel like the need that you have to be around people and you have to be on the go, you have to do this, you have to do that, you don't even have the time and the mental capacity just to, like, sit and be. And that's where some of that intimacy comes from. It's
Right.
just, I don't need anybody else. I just need us. I just need this moment. You know what I'm saying? I just need us in this space, whether we're sitting on the porch or we're sitting in the car, riding around, listening to music, you know what I'm saying? And just enjoying ourselves, or phone conversation. But yeah, intimacy is like something that I feel like is fleeting.
Yes.
Just like the human connection, right? Like, these types of conversations, a lot of stuff is fleeting, but that's what we need to sustain and to have healthy relationships.
Correct. Man, I'm digging it. Like, that's one thing. And I was just listening to something yesterday. I'm glad you mentioned that also,
Mm-hmm.
about many people not being comfortable. I don't even want to say comfortable, because I know you didn't hit on that, but I think a lot of people really aren't comfortable with themselves in terms of actually time to think and understand what
Right.
it is that you like, what it is that you want, instead of always having to be around others, as you
Mm-hmm.
said, to kind of dictate what it is that they should be doing.
Right.
And even going out in public by yourself, or just being able to spend time with yourself,
Yes.
is very important.
Loving yourself, right? Like, if we were together, how could I love you the way you need to be loved if I don't love myself?
Correct.
Right? And how could I get on you and say, you don't love me like this, you don't love me like that, when I don't even know how to show myself love, let alone love you the way a man needs to be loved, So people are
Right.
so busy doing the most, because nobody wants to sit with themselves. Nobody wants to face their demons, because it's an ugly, grueling process, but it's like everything,
Yeah.
your life is on the other side of that.
Right. Yeah. And want to cover it with vices. We want to treat ourselves
Yep.
devices to cover it up.
Yep.
So
It's God's beat maker.
And I don't know. I haven't put a light in the sky for the G's that done turn memory from go. Blessings we send to the ghetto youth them.